So, Fidelio from the Met. Good performance of what I think was more of an obligation for Beethoven to write. You know, they brought it up in the intermission, Rene Papa did, where he said that Beethoven preferred his symphonic music rather than operatic. I had a text chain with my brother, who's a music professor, he was bringing up that Beethoven was just not a fan of operas in general, and more or less wrote this just to shut everyone up from just asking him, it's like, when are you going to make an opera? When are you going to make an opera? Here! Although, judging by when he finished the opera, probably could have waited a couple years and just no longer heard anyone ask him, because he would have been able to hear them, you know, because he went deaf. Didn't really have a lot of first act notes, mostly because I was having trouble staying awake. I think some of it was the opera. I think some of it was just I felt way too warm. Did a lot better when I got recaffeinated in the second act, so there's some things I'm gonna have to look over. Like in the first act, first song, the young guy looked like he had some sort of nosebleed. Was that a real nosebleed? Like, I know they can do fake nosebleeds. They got like these little blood packets they can use to make it look real. And I'm a wrestling fan, so I'm aware that there are ways that they can do it without having to go hard way, where you intentionally cut someone open, intentionally beat someone to a point where they start bleeding. Like you can use like a small razor to cut yourself, but you got to be careful with that, otherwise you'll just bleed out way too much. This one, if he wasn't bleeding for real, it definitely was a blood pack of some sort. Looked good for the camera. Assuming it was a blood pack and not him accidentally breaking his nose. I think I'll have more things to actually say about this when they come out with the recording of this middle of next week. Something for re-upping your subscription before the end of February. I'm sure if you've got a subscription to On Demand, you probably understand what I mean by that. I have some mixed thoughts about what Peter Gelb said at the beginning. Like, I don't have a problem with him talking about how it's a piece that is how important it is to rise up against tyranny. I have no problem with that. And it seemed to get some good reaction in the theater I was in. People actually applauded it, which is good, because I was feeling very, not necessarily uncomfortable, but very unsure of how it was going to be received. And the answer is pretty well, which is good. A little hope for the opera-loving crowd. No, it's mixed feelings more towards what he said here today versus what's coming up later. And by later, I mean next season. I have a video for the preview. It should be coming up in the next couple days. Just putting the final touches on it. But there's an opera that sounds like it's a very anti-fascism opera. Should be perfect for what Peter said at the beginning of the stream today. It's not going to be live streamed next year. Looks like rain. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up. Good performance of an opera that is rough Should you go see the rerun next week on Wednesday? Maybe. I don't know. If you did re-up your Met subscription before the end of February, you obviously you're going to get access to this early next week. So I suppose you could just wait. Look, I don't know if you're really missing much if you don't see it, but it's less about how it was performed and more what they were performing that I guess would be the issue there. So take for that what you will. And I will see you at the next one. Well, I'll see you in the next video later this week. And I'll see you now. I guess I'll see you for the next opera at the end of April for The Marriage of Figaro. Take care.